accountant to the SEC, the chair of FASB, and the chair of the PCAOB. Stay tuned. Now I recognize the gentleman from Wisconsin, Mr. Steil, and I believe you'll be our last question.
Last but not least, thank you for being here, Mr. Graywall. Appreciate it. We've covered a wide range of topics. I want to cover 3 in the limited time that I have. First question, can you tell us about any enforcement actions regarding proxy advisors that you've taken during your tenure at the SEC?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the first part of your question.
No worries. Can you tell us about any enforcement actions regarding proxy advisors that you've undertaken during your tenure at the Securities and Exchange Commission?
So it'll be a year for me next week, but I'd have to go back and consult with our office on that, get back to you on that information.
That would be terrific. Is it your view that as proxy advisors are not a proxy solicitation under the 34 Act, that you'd need an action by Congress to further oversee proxy advisors, or do you think you have current authority to review proxy advisor firms in your current position?
So again, that's something I'd refer you to our policy-making divisions who are handling the proxy advisor rules and the changes there too.
Okay, I'm pretty concerned with the changes that were just recently made. I think it was a mistake to strike down the Clayton proxy advisor rules, not under your realm of jurisdiction, but I do think it's relevant as we think about the power that these 2 proxy advisors that control roughly 97% of proxy advice in this country play. I think it's a very reasonable place for the SEC to be providing substantive oversight over. Let me shift gears. I want to echo my colleague Mr. Huizenga's comments regarding the Division of Enforcement, the historically that adopted a historically broad understanding of what the term dealer means. I listened to your answers, and so I won't ask you my questions, but I just would note, and I think I echo my colleague here, that I want to caution that these broad definitions and aggressive enforcement approaches come with a real cost, and specifically classifying everyone as a dealer could chill investment, in particular in small public companies. And my concern is that that'll hurt innovation and competition. And so I won't ask you a question on it because I think it was covered previously. I know there's ongoing litigation in that space. Let me get to my final topic here, and I know Ms. Wagner commented on this. And so, Mr. Graywall, I'm really concerned about the SEC's climate disclosure proposal. You would be in the enforcement arm at the SEC. And American businesses struggling with high inflation, with labor costs, supply shortages, mountains of red tape. And while at that same time, we're watching the SEC seems determined to push companies to spend scarce resources on disclosure of what I view as non-material. If it's material, disclose it. Non-material climate change related items. And so I have 2 concerns. First, the proposal itself. Public companies already disclose material information to investors. Enforce issuers to disclose information that may not be material. Comes with great costs and little benefit. Second, and this is where your office comes in, I'm concerned with what this rule would be difficult to implement and would probably fail to achieve its desired effect. And so one of the trickiest aspects of the climate proposal concerns Scope 3 emissions, the downstream emissions impact, and the issuers that will be expected to report on this topic. So could you walk through how your office intends to handle compliance cases related to Scope 3 emissions disclosures?
So again, Congressman, I'll refer back to an earlier answer I gave on this specific question. It's impossible for me to talk about how we would enforce this rule, which has yet to be finalized and yet to be adopted, and we don't know yet what it will look like. I tried to explain how we, bless you, I've tried to explain how we've gone about dealing with these issues using our existing authorities.
So let me appreciate that. Maybe I can get a little more clarity then. Does your office have expertise in climate science?
So as I mentioned earlier, where we need expertise for our enforcement actions, for example, a climate-related matter that we're prosecuting now in court, we've gone out and gotten that expertise in litigation.
So what would be the cost structure of that in the case you just referenced?
It would be the same with any litigation, any litigated enforcement action where we go out and retain experts within the rules that allow
these would be individuals probably charging in the neighborhood of $1,000 an hour, rough estimate?
we could provide you that information. I do think.
I think that would actually be helpful, because here's my concern, is if we take the rules, if we assume they're currently implemented, it would fall to your office. I think it would involve hundreds of individuals that would be required to have very specific climate expertise. We could judge whether or not they're politically motivated. It would cost thousands of dollars, not only for the SEC, but also for these companies to comply, rather than allowing these companies to build jobs here in the United States of America. I know we're out of time, Mr. Chairman. Recognizing there's votes, I will yield back.
Thank you. Some 341 of our colleagues have yet to record their votes, so it looks like we can conclude.